The Namibia University of Science and Technology has officially launched its Digital Arts and Animation Department, also known as DA, a major step forward in fostering digital creativity and innovation in the country. And with enrollment for the 2025 intake now open, this initiative marks a significant milestone in Namibia's education landscape and its growing digital economy. Joining us to discuss this is Jordania Andima and Patrick Sam. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Thank you so much.
Did I say correct? DA is a DAA.
The DAA.
DA sounds cooler. Jordania, this is a major milestone for Namibia's, creative industry. What inspired NUST to introduce this, department at this particular time?
So NUST launched the Department of Digital Arts in response to the growing demand for highly skilled professionals in animation, film, and creative creative industry. Also through consultations with stakeholders like broadcasters and film studios and gaming companies, we realized that there's actually a gap in locally trained talent. And also the rise in outsourcing opportunities also highlighted that there is a need for specialized training so that we can help support and also help put Namibia on the map on the global scale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, digital arts and animation require advanced skills and technology, Jordania. So how will this department ensure that, students receive industry standard training and are exposed to cutting edge tools?
Yeah. So look, high-end equipment, especially software and equipment for animation, is very expensive. So the DAA is making advanced technologies accessible by securing partnership for educational software licenses and also making sure that we've got digital labs for students to do the work. Yeah, and that is the number one thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's where Lunar Pictures comes in, and obviously I was part of the team that helped Lunar Pictures and NUST imagine how this program is going to be, and it's called the ASAP. It's an animation skills accelerator program. So this year, because of all the high-end expectations, we're accelerating the skills, we're accelerating the infrastructure and the studios, we're accelerating the students that come into there. And at the same time as the program has been launched under the DAA, we're also launching this ASAP program. And ASAP then also further requires further resource mobilization because of, when somebody that comes from the US, who's done script writing for children's television and has worked for Looney Tunes versus like having to choose Nina or Patrick because they're child stars to write these children's scripts. I mean, we could be good enough, but I think we don't come with networks, for instance, that then plug us in. So the difference here is that we're finally ready to produce work that is commercially viable. So we can make an avatar now.
On that note, Patrick, how do you see this initiative transforming, the local industry in the long run?
I think part of the challenge is, and I think my work in the creative industry is really reinforced around this notion that our human talent is our most vital economic, social, and cultural resource. Yes, the diamonds are there. Yes, the gold is there. The uranium is there. But the most vital is our human resources, and it's that talent. So I think that's the idea of talent in this country and creative talent. The truth is it's a $4.4 trillion industry, just animation, right? Africa owns about 12.3 billion, which is about 5% of the global market when it comes to animation. So it's a thing to say, oh, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be an engineer, you also want to be an animator. You also want to be a videographer. You want to be a filmmaker. You want
that to be right in the top 5 choices.
Because but the future of work shows us this. That everybody with the given threats of artificial intelligence, the only people that are guaranteed of not losing a job are creatives.
Jordania, with this first cohort accommodating only 100 students across, the 5 courses, do you foresee plans to expand on this enrollment in the future, and what criteria will be used for selecting students?
At the moment, the 100 students will remain, that number will remain the same for the next few years.
Okay.
This is for us to ensure that there's quality and also resource optimization. And then the other thing is we are our target mostly is marginalized communities, right? Because they're the ones who know how to tell digital stories better in their own languages. Somebody can come to me and say, okay, let me tell you something, and a story in their languages, and I can come and translate it to you and tell you what they tell me. But the way it means to them is different. So our target is marginalized communities. Obviously, women are a bigger part of this because the animation industry is male-dominated. And we're also looking at people with disabilities and then underrepresented individuals. So we're making sure that those people who need this the most are our number one priority. Of course, professionals who are already in the game, we're looking at the portfolios and seeing where they are and then seeing where we need to place them. But priorities is our target.
Patrick, you dropped a great little fact nugget with informing us about, the creatives having longevity in this ever-evolving technological world that we're in and we find ourselves in. And I think that's a conversation on its own also for another time, because I'd really like to expand on that, but we don't have the time to do that today. But for aspiring creators, Patrick, who are considering enrolling but maybe unsure about, career prospects in animation and digital arts, what would you say to encourage them to take up this opportunity?
Thank Nina for asking the right question, right? So I'll give you an example. Our 2D animators, the back end, all right? So you say you're an animator, you're a Namibian animator. Now, if you're a studio that wants to take up your work, you'll ask, what software did you use? Because studios will only use particular software, but you as a Namibian will say, oh, I use open software. You can't commercialize open software, all right? So we have access to Toon Boom Harmony, and NUST is signed an agreement with them. At the back end, when you leave this program in 6 months, you leave as a Toon Boom animator. Now, on the global kind of market right now, and the demand for animation and animators is really high. To enter the market for as a junior animator, as a Toon Boom certified, you get £25 an hour. So within a year, when
that's
you
entry level.
Entry level. So in a year, if you work, say, 5 hours a day, that is £125 a day. That is about, 2,000-3,000 Namibian dollars a day. You work 10 days. So the idea is this idea: Namibians can no longer just be inward looking. I must find a job in Namibia. I must generate income in Namibia. Automatically become globally relevant, right? And you're able to transform your livelihood by just joining the 2D animation program and becoming a Toon Boom Harmony certified animator. And it's Toon Boom's first time in Africa. So we're globally positioning our animation school as the leading premier licensing kind of course, all right? Because you're coming out of something that makes you directly into the market. And I think, Jordan, maybe the aftercare program of the pathways is very important to us. What happens to you afterwards?
It's very important because a lot of animators get into, they're trained, but they're not trained into how to pitch their stories, the portfolios, and we want to network to give them this network where they can get jobs to freelance, or then to also be part of our hub with Luna Studios, which we're actually launching again next in May.
This is fantastic and fantastic news for Namibia as well, and I think the opportunities here really are great and many.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for being here. I know it was short, but I think it was informative.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.